Hi there, this is Sharon Mason. I'm a quantum healing hypnosis practitioner, and welcome to a very not very sunny day in a typical British summertime. I don't know if you can see outside there. It's very, very grey today, raining a bit. Typical British summertime. And today I'm here to talk about the Jack the Ripper case. So, in some cases, with some of my clients or friends, and with my partner, who have a very good connection with the higher self, under hypnosis, we're able to ask the higher self questions about mysteries and history. And last week I did a session with my partner and we asked about the Jack the Ripper case. We'd actually been watching a documentary about Jack the Ripper on Netflix. One of the, I think it's Unexplained Mysteries is the name of the program. And we were kind of wondering, well, who was Jack the Ripper? The case has never been solved. Now, if you don't know who Jack the Ripper was, this was a case going back to Victorian England, and in the year of, I think it was around 1888, something like that. And the Jack the Ripper case was never solved. This was a serial killer around the Whitechapel district of London. And I'm just going to read out what Wikipedia says about Jack the Ripper. It says that Jack the Ripper was an unidentified serial killer active in and around the impoverished Whitechapel district of London, England in 1888. In both criminal case files and contemporaneous journalistic accounts, the killer was also called the Whitechapel murderer and Leather Apron. So attacks ascribed to Jack the Ripper typically involved women working as prostitutes who lived and worked in the slums of the East End of London. Their throats were cut prior to abdominal mutilations. The removal of internal organs from at least 3 of the victims led to speculation that their killer had some kind of anatomical or surgical knowledge. Rumours that the murders were connected intensified in September and October 1888, and numerous letters were received by media outlets and Scotland Yard from individuals purporting to be the murderer. Now, during this particular quantum healing session with my partner has a very, very good connection with the higher self, and we're able to get answers to historical mysteries through the higher self. Now, what the higher self does is it consults with the Akashic records or Akashic records, however you pronounce it, and they go off and they find answers to these questions that I ask. And so in one of these sessions last week, because my partner and I had been watching a documentary about Jack the Ripper, I asked the question, who was Jack the Ripper? And I'm going to play you now the answer that the higher self came up with. And then we're going to talk a little bit more about who we think the higher self is referring to. So here you go, have a listen.
We were watching a documentary the other day about Jack the Ripper, and we wondered, who was Jack the Ripper? Is there any information that you are able to give us on his real identity?
He had a walk-in.
He had a walk-in?
A walk-in. Demonic walk-in.
Uh-huh.
He was connected to, he had some medical experience, and he was ex-surgeon. He was an ex-surgeon.
Ex-surgeon.
He was some type of surgeon. Well grounded, well healed individual.
Well healed.
Came from a wealthy family from those times. but was possessed, taken over by walking he had some cult connections. You would call it some satanic, and there was no protection. Very dark entity took hold. But had medical knowledge.
Was he one of the people who was investigated at the time?
Yes, I sense he had been taken by the police at the time, questioned, but had a brilliant mind. Was very deceptive. Master at it, actually. I was very pleased that he hadn't been discovered. And went to a dark place, but I had a good mind before this happened. Very intellectual. But yes, unfortunately, his soul had no connections further.
Are you able to get a first name for him at all?
John. I see John. Jonathan. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so the higher self mentioned that the person who was Jack the Ripper had medical training, and that their name was John. So me and my partner, we did a little bit of research, and my partner found the name in the list of people who had been either accused or questioned about the murders. And one of these people was called Sir John Williams, the first baronet of the City of London. Now, if you look at Sir John Williams and you have a look through his list on Wikipedia, you'll see that it says that he was a Welsh physician who attended Queen Victoria and was raised to the baronetcy by her in 1894. Now, he was apparently, I think, questioned briefly for the Jack the Ripper case, but he was never accused. And in 2005, one of his distant relatives, a guy named Michael Anthony Williams, or Tony Williams, co-authored a book all about the Jack the Ripper case called Uncle Jack, where the author claims that Sir John Williams was Jack the Ripper. So that's very interesting as well. Now, I think there have been doubts raised by other people about this book and about whether or not Sir John Williams could have been the murderer, but it's very interesting what the higher self says. And I think it's certainly worth looking more into. So if you're interested in the Jack the Ripper case, then have a look. Have a look at Sir John Williams and see what you think. So there you go. So was it Sir John Williams? Was it somebody else? Will we ever know? Maybe if you have a connection to your higher self, maybe you can ask them. Or if you want to do a higher self questions session with me and a quantum healing, then please get in touch via my website, which is www.sharonmason.co.uk. I hope you enjoyed the video. Keep an eye out for more and take care. Bye for now.